For waiting, technical difficulties, but it's fine. We got the whole team here. Starting off from the bat, if you guys are just randomly hatching, like coming upon the stream and you have no idea what's happening, I'm Emily. I do developer relations for Linea. We have a monthly community call to talk about all the really exciting things cooking in our ecosystem. So, brief introduction of our lovely guest today. I'll let you talk about yourself first. Jimmy, and then Ryan, and then Marco. Go. Who
All
are
right.
you?
Yeah, sure. Hey, everyone. I'm Jimmy. I am the product marketing lead at Chainlink for our data solutions. And so super excited to be here today.
Fantastic.
Hey, this is Ryan. Sorry, this is a little bit early in like West Coast, and I am the creator of the Tomo new initiative, on the Linea chain, and I'm very excited and happy to be here today.
Marco, you're muted. I can't hear you. I think I hear Ryan's cups, but not you. It's okay. Everyone can, I'll just talk to fill time because I'm very good at that. When I do these live streams, sometimes I get accused of being AI, and all this is fake. So actually, I intentionally made Marco unable to speak. Right? That's what's happening here to prove that we're all real people. In case you didn't know.
Can you hear me now?
Yes,
No?
I can hear you, Marco. Your face is
Oh.
frozen, but that's probably good enough. That's okay.
So, okay.
Are you on?
So,
Yeah. Go. Introduce yourself. Let me put it this way. The screen that it froze on is actually a very flattering photo for you. I don't know if you're frozen for anybody else, but you are frozen for me.
I don't see myself frozen.
Oh, really?
I don't see the other frozen, yeah.
Okay. Well, that's fine. I see you every day, so I don't need to see your face moving. But if it's good for everyone else, then we're great. So yeah, lay of the land. We're gonna talk about the DeFi Voyage. I know people are really excited about that. Chainlink came on Lydia, got onto Linea. Yesterday we officially announced it, which is insane. So I'm super excited for that. Jimmy will be kind of talking about the ins and outs and actually specifically why it is really important for Linea. And the last piece, if you guys haven't seen the hottest and the latest, Tomo is blowing up. So we brought on Ryan to talk a little bit more about it because I think the app itself is really cool, but there's a lot of engineering stuff in the background that people don't necessarily know about that I really want to highlight. So yeah, I'm going to kick Ryan and Jimmy off. Thank you so much for joining for this very brief amount of time. I'll bring you on when appropriate. Cool. So let's get started. Marco, good to see you again. I see you all the time, but not our wonderful users who are really excited about the DeFi Voyage. For people who have we always have to do this. So just lay of the land. What is the DeFi Voyage?
So the DeFi Voyage is a learning experience actually on DeFi. We believe DeFi is really an infrastructure that will be an enabler for many use cases that we will have on Linea. But it's important that we make all users aware on what is DeFi on Linea, what's the DeFi ecosystem, and also how to navigate it, because we have more than 250 dApps on Linea between dApps and partners. And it's very important to be able to navigate this ecosystem. So DeFi is super interesting. Again, it's an infrastructure pretty much like in the real life. You cannot have any social interaction without the banking infrastructure. In the Web3 space, you will not be able to see any meaningful use case if you don't have a support from a DeFi infrastructure on the back. So we said, okay, let's start to now that we have a more decent DeFi ecosystem with more than 100 DeFi dApps, let's start to actually invite all Linea users to navigate this ecosystem on DeFi. We had an activation on gaming. We will do some more activation on gaming and entertainment, but this DeFi one, it's not really an activation that is just for fun. It's more as a learning experience. We really want to show all the different steps into a typical day in the life of a DeFi degen person, that start from ramping it on the network, swapping this ETH, interacting with money market, doing some trading, the concept of yield farming. So all these important features, we actually want to explain how do they work, which are the risks, what the user should really look for, why they should use them. And this is mainly part of the theory side of the DeFi Voyage. But then we want also to show users which are the partners of the Linea ecosystem that will let them do these things, like the swap, the bridge, the lending and borrowing, trading, and stuff like this. So that's about the DeFi Voyage. And yeah, that's a learning experience. We carefully listened to all the feedbacks from the community after the testnet voyage, and we really cared about avoiding to repeat the same issues. So first thing, one of the biggest critiques for the testnet voyage was that there were too many tasks to do, and it was very time intensive and resource intensive for users. So we said, okay, let's put it very easy. Like there won't be any off-chain task, and there will be just one core task for each type of action into the DeFi journey. So it will be extremely easy to participate into the DeFi quest. And then, of course, for users that wants to play a bit more, there will be the possibility to play more with partners. But it's definitely not mandatory. So you can just run across all the tasks, across all the waves, just doing one action per wave. That's the first feedback. The second very important thing is about what happened on testnet. We had 5.4 million addresses interacting with the campaign. And after the proof of humanity, we had roughly 450,000 real humans. So it was 90% of bots and CBILs. And we have no issue with bots and CBILs. I mean, if a guy spent 20 hours to build a script to automate a task quest, it somehow deserves like a bonus point to say, yeah, you invested money and time in doing this. We have an issue when bot activity prevent human activity. So the bot were so high on the DeFi, on the testnet voyage, that they actually took all the resources of the Linea testnet. And so humans were left out. They were not able to interact. Price spiked so much. So we decided now to start from the beginning to discuss about the fact that if you are not able to pass the proof of humanity, there won't be any reward for you. So even if you want to spend 20 hours of your time to create bots and to create CBILs or scripts to automate tasks, be sure that you are just wasting your time. And if you are setting up farms to run all the tasks, you are wasting your money in terms of hardware resources. Because this time the proof of humanity will be much more efficient than what we did on the entertainment festival and what we did on the testnet voyage. It's because this time we are going to leverage Verax, that is an attestation registry on Linea, where we have around 12 to 15 partners that will be able to secure and provide a very valid and strong proof of humanity mechanism. So yeah, the advice is don't waste your time and don't waste your money. This is not about rewards. This is about having fun, understanding the DeFi, and discovering the DeFi ecosystem on Linea. So please avoid setting up bots and trying to farm this quest, because you will just lose a lot of time and money. And we really want to give all the space to humans. So We want this to have fun and to avoid network congestion and stuff like this.
It's really funny. I like the phrasing "day in the life of a day," like a day in the life of a degen, DeFi degen, which is
Yeah,
very
actually,
helpful for me. I don't know. I feel so. For I guess those of you who are involved with the DeFi Voyage, once it starts, which is going to be, correct me if I'm wrong, next week, right?
yeah,
It starts next
yeah.
week, November 7th. I will be running kind of in the same way we did for the testnet voyages, weekly Twitter spaces about, on-chain analysis of how you guys have been helping the Linea community grow, again with Gino, which is awesome. Emanuela, if you guys all remember him, will be joining us as well to be talking about the latest and greatest. And actually, I love that you brought up the point about this being an educational initiative and almost like a day in the life of a DeFi degen. Because I also invited basically one of our core Linea team members, Cam. You'll get to meet him later on, but if anyone asks you who's a DeFi degen, it's him, and he's gonna be giving out all the details on like what is like swapping, yield farming, and things like that. So really starting from a base level of like, hey, these are the things you can do on Linea, but like, what actually is it? And I think Cam brings a really valuable presentation
Yeah,
to that.
Cam is our golden boy for sure. But just to be fully transparent here, to design the tasks and this learning experience, we actually spoke with something like 5 to 6 consensus colleagues that are all DeFi degens like Cam. But we even engaged with other partners in the ecosystem. So it was done sharing this approach on the campaign with partners, collecting their feedback, exchanging some opinion with other people that we know in the community are into the DeFi a lot. So yeah, we put a lot of effort on this one. Hopefully it will be complete, fun, and interesting.
Cool, awesome. So to summarize everything you just told us, DeFi Voyage is I guess waves of different ways to
No.
interact.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's just all the steps that you do when you interact with DeFi. That's it. So yeah, all different tasks or activity that you do in the DeFi space.
Right. Yeah. And like the primary purpose is to give users exposure to the different possibilities with Linea, as well as like helping to power the infrastructure of Linea in a sense, which is like obviously DeFi. The piece that I also wanted to cover, right, is, DeFi Voyage is going to be tied to your engagement is tied to Linea Voyage XP. So, for those of you who've never heard of Voyage XP, can you tell us a little bit about what it is,
Yeah,
and what it means?
I need to be very careful here. It's a very sensitive topic, and I don't have any script prepared. So, what is Voyage XP? Voyage XP is a sort of unit of account for the human work that each one gives to Linea and contributes to the growth of Linea. We are starting Voyage XP with this campaign, with this DeFi campaign, but it's not just really about rewards for campaign. It's really a way to measure each individual how much contributes to the growth of the Linea network. And this will not be just about campaign. This will be about in real life events. So people that will join us in Istanbul at our events will be able to collect XP points. It's for people that support the community. So people writing blog posts will be able to get XP points. People supporting other users on Discord, like Discord community champions, will be able to get XP points. dApps contributing to the network will be able to get XP points. So it's literally, as we decided the name about XP means experience point. It's literally the same meaning, like each one will get an experience point, a number of experience points that will attest with a transparent on-chain proof how much they did contribute to the growth of the network, of the Linea network. This will be ERC20 token, so you will be able to see them in your MetaMask, but this will be non-transferable, like SBT, like soulbound token. not NFT, but ERC20. So you will be able to see a balance in your wallet about this token, but you will not be able to send them to another wallet or to receive in exchange for Ether. So whoever is telling you that you can, they can sell to you XP points, it's a scam. It's not possible. Nobody can transfer, not even us. We cannot transfer XP points. We can just mint them and distribute them to wallets. This is very important because it means that in order to get XP points, you need to be able to prove that you are a human. And usually to be able to prove you are a human, you have two different ways, relying on Verax partners. There are partners that do KYC. So you can do a KYC connected to your wallet, for example. You will be able to prove you are a human like this. But we understand that this is a bit too much invasive. So there are other partners involved in the equation. So instead of doing KYC, you can refer to other partners that look at your wallet. So in order to pass this proof of humanity, you need to use a wallet that is a bit older, like that there's a lot of activity, not just on Linea, but also on other network, like your main wallet. And the more activity you get on the wallet, the more easier will be to pass the proof of humanity. It's not just about the wallet, it's also about your social handlers and stuff like this. So once you will be able to interact with this partner and be able to prove you are a human, you will do using your master wallet. And on your master wallet, you will be able to get the XP points. Because if you are not able to pass the proof of humanity, we will not be able to mint you XP tokens. That means that it's better if you run the quest, when it comes to quest, relying on the same wallet. Because if you use other wallet, you may have issues in verifying that you are a human. We can support on this because we will let you link multiple wallets to your master wallet. But it's a strong suggestion to use your oldest wallet that you have in order to do the campaign and be able to pass the proof of humanity and collect the XP points. Now, what's the XP points for? I mean, it's a unit of account. Yeah, it's fine. What we are going to use this? The reason why I introduced this is because this is connected to the destination of the voyage. The destination of the voyage is when the Linea network will be decentralized. But let's assume that the technical team will release the software to decentralize the Linea network tomorrow. It's not something that we can just release the software, turn the key, and then the network will be decentralized. You know, in order to be really decentralized, we need to have a community. We need to identify the right stakeholders or people that care about Linea and that has a stake into Linea in order to have them to take care about the network. So this is a process. So let's say that tomorrow we will release the software. We will not be able to decentralize tomorrow. We need to identify the right stakeholder to actually be part of the decentralized Linea network. How do we find these people? We will look at the XP points. So the more XP points anyone will have, the more relevant role they can play into the decentralized Linea network. So that's the reason behind the Voyage XP. We can start now because this will take time. We will decentralize the network later next year if everything goes okay. I mean, I don't want to anticipate any specific roadmap, but it's not something that will happen in the next 3 to 4 to 6 months, 100%. So instead of just waiting for the technical team to be ready and then starting working on the ecosystem, like identified all the relevant people that will be involved in the decentralized Linea network, we can start now. And we can start now by using this ERC20 token that are soul bounded.
Fantastic. Okay, quick summary. Make sure, remember, they are soul bound. So you have to keep the same wallet. You can't, it's like people can't create a bunch of new wallets and just expect it to work. What's the other thing I want? Oh, there were some questions that flow through. For example, like, do the NFTs that they got from the testnet voyages translate into XP?
Yes, the Voyage NFT, yes. Not yet, because we are not ready to map the NFT tiers with the number of XP token. But at some point in the future, we will be able to take a snapshot and convert the NFTs into XP.
Okay, fantastic. There was another question about does running a node, do we know if running a node will be related at all?
That's a very nice question. Not yet for the moment, but 100% this will be something that will be relevant because we really need people running node for Linea for the decentralization. So that we need to identify a way to manage this because this needs to be still a proof of humanity on the back and a proof that the node is run and it will be continued to run in the long term. But still, yeah, this is a very important feature for the decentralized Linea network. So probably yes.
Okay, cool. Another question, does just making generic transactions on Linea give you experience points?
No,
No.
just sorry, just making generic transaction.
Yeah, it says do regular. I'm assuming
No.
basically if you want to get XP for transactions, it's like participating in our voyages to kind of see what's happening in the ecosystem, right?
Yeah, it's not just about our voyages. It's also about our partner. I mean, our partner will be able to spin up activation moment, and we will let them to provide XP points to the users.
Okay.
So yeah, it's about contributing to be part of the network. It's not just about sending token back and forth or using the network as it is. It's not really. I mean, we care about synergies and having people really using dApps because they need them or because they find them useful, not just because they need to create activity on the network. It's
Right.
not really the intended case.
Right. So yeah, so XP is not only for but the types of different ways that you can do XP, right? Again, like you mentioned before, is contributing content, right? So blog posts, participating in our hackathons, so creating, actively building on Linea, coming to our events and engaging in conversation, networking with like our partners and our team, and then probably a different host of things, right? So as you mentioned,
Yeah.
the voyages we run is not just one, it's just one part of like the greater contribution to the Linea ecosystem in general.
100%. Yes. Yes.
Okay, cool. And then probably have time for one more question. If you have the answer. They're like wondering, oh, if I participated in the entertainment festival, how do I know I would get some XP? It's just
Well, the XP will be provided to each one that qualified in the first top 60. So basically, if you got access to a Discord role, you will get XP.
okay. Fantastic. Cool. So I think that was everything. That was a really good summary, Marco, actually. Oh, I am so all over the place. Last piece. Now that we are excited about the DeFi Voyage, know what it is and what XP is, how do we actually start?
How do we actually start?
Yeah, where do I find out about the tasks? And
Oh, okay, yeah, of course. It's probably the most important part.
the most important
So
question.
we are supported by a partner for this voyage. As usual, we switch partner on every activation because we like to be fair with all the ecosystem and work with all of them. This time, the partner that will support us is Interact. So Interact.io will be the platform where the voyage will be, the DeFi voyage will be hosted. So there will be blog posts coming out very soon. I think that there's also a countdown page on Interact. So you can start onboarding on Interact.io because, yeah, in order to be part of the quest, you need to be on that platform.
Okay, cool. So we are using Interact, and as usual, you can always find more information on our blog,
Mirror.
on
Yeah.
Mirror. Yeah, linea.mirror.xyz, and our Twitter at LineaBuild. But yes, thank you so much. I'm going to kick you off right now and bring on Jimmy from Chainlink, but always a
It's a
joy to
pleasure.
talk to you, Marco. I will see you later.
Thanks.
So Jimmy, I don't know if you heard, that's your cue to join. Hello. Okay. in case everyone forgot, because my attention span is 0, can you please introduce yourself again?
Yeah, happy to do it. Yeah, so I'm Jimmy. I'm the product marketing lead at Chainlink for our data solutions, and so super pumped to be here. Yeah, we went live with data feeds yesterday, so
Yeah.
so it's
So
exciting.
again, I think the audience of these community calls is always pretty much a mixed bag of like developers, interested community members. So let's start off with the basics. What is Chainlink? What are oracles? What is a data
Yeah,
feed?
for sure. Yeah, so the way we describe ourselves is a decentralized compute platform, and so I think the most simple way to think of like what an oracle is oracles bring data or inputs to your smart contracts. So, you know, we're people out there who are building dApps, right? It's like basically we're building really robust if-then statements. If price of BTC hits this, then do that. If it rains in New York, then pay out flood insurance, like, right? So we build these really robust systems, these really robust if-then systems that are like, decentralized and global and unstoppable. But how do you know that it rained in New York? Or how do you know that BTC's price hit X, right? You need something to bring that data input to your smart contract. That something is an oracle, right? So that's what we do here. I would say like there's a couple other points, right? Oracles don't have to be, or they're not just bringing a single data point or like a price point on chain. There's really any sort of compute that a blockchain wants to offload, an oracle can provide, which is really important, right? Because like blockchains are these global decentralized state machines, right? Like keeping track of global state. And it makes them really great at a lot of things, but computation is like a really heavy, time intensive, resource intensive thing for them to do. So can you offload that in a way that is still decentralized and secure and has cryptographic guarantees? And you do that by using an oracle that meets those properties. So that's what an oracle is. That's what Chainlink does in a nutshell. And so now we have data feeds, which are bringing price points on chain on Linea. So if you are building an application that needs to know the price of BTC or Ethereum, we just deployed 11 feeds. You can plug into the Chainlink data feeds into your smart contracts, and now your application can know with certainty what the price is of these assets.
Yeah. I guess that kind of answered the next question I had for you, as in specifically like why is it important? Maybe you can still answer this anyways. Like why is Chainlink important for the Linea ecosystem? Right?
Yeah,
Or developers in general too, right?
For sure. And the reason really boils down to is like not all oracles are like created equal, right? So I would say, right, in this future we all want to build, we're building like these unstoppable smart contracts, right? Like we can transfer millions of dollars around the world in the blink of an eye, but they're not reversible, or they're irreversible, right? Like you can't undo it. So you better make sure your data is like very much correct, always correct, and never wrong, right? Like like if you think about maybe in the Web2 world where you want to book the price of a hotel or something, or like you go onto Google Flights and maybe you ping a database and you come back with the price of a flight or hotel and it's off by a little bit, like the world doesn't end, right? But if you are, say, a DeFi protocol and for a split second, even just 1 second, the price of BTC is being misreported by your oracle as like $1 million, right? Like maybe all your shorts are liquidated. Maybe you're paid out wrong, right? It's just a terrible user experience. These transactions are irreversible. Like basically the demand for your oracle being always correct is just, the bar is just so high, right? So what you need to do is like when you're building these applications, you need to make sure that the oracle is rock solid, which is like why just like maybe scraping web data from CoinGecko or something is just not going to cut it. Like it might be right 99.4% of the time, but that 0.6 might wreck your entire user base.
Right.
So that's why it's important. I think there's like maybe part of that I think is like what sets Chainlink apart for this. And so with our data feeds, like how do you get to that level of like extreme resilience and reliability? So like the architecture of the data feeds, like we have multiple layers of aggregation. So we source from basically every like exchange or where price discovery happens all around like the entire globe. It goes through a bunch of premium data providers, which is like another layer of aggregation. And then we have our decentralized Oracle network that sits on top, which is another layer of aggregation. So there's like multiple ways where like if there's an outlier or an exchange goes down, like it doesn't matter. We still got this global decentralized feed going through. We have a bunch of outlier detection, data quality stuff. So that means every time the price point is delivered on chain, it's like you have extreme confidence that that is the right price point.
Awesome. Cool. So Chainlink has been around. So for, I guess, people watching, you might not even know that you've interacted with Chainlink, but can you tell us some hidden ways that maybe our end
Yeah.
users have seen it?
Yeah, you know, it's funny, like, so I'm on the marketing side, and I think what we'd call us is like an ingredient brand, right? Like we're in all the stuff that you use, but maybe you don't know it, right? And so from a marketing standpoint, like how do you tell the story and make sure people are knowing that you're powering these things they're interacting with? But
Yeah.
So it's a great question. The answer is we touch over the numbers, like over 1,700 different protocols are somehow interacting with Chainlink at the moment. So it's a pretty big ecosystem. A lot of the DeFi OGs that you know, Aave, Compound, like Aave exclusively uses Chainlink data feeds. So if you ever used pretty much any of these lending or borrowing apps or DeFi protocols, probably Chainlink is providing the feeds. In fact, if you go to Aave or like Woo Network or whatever, like you hover over the little Oracle price, it'll say like provided by Chainlink. When you do that, other folks like ENS also use us, and we just had a big partnership with GMX as well. So if you use DeFi, you've interacted with Chainlink price feeds, you just may or may not have known it.
Yeah. I love that. Ingredient marketing. That's a really good word for it. I think I'm gonna.
Yeah, I wish I didn't make it up. I just
Okay, well, I'm publicly stating I'm stealing that from you and not telling my team when I introduce it to my coworkers. Cool. And then I guess for the last piece, Chainlink is here. How do our developers start using Chainlink?
Yeah, so there's a couple. I'll answer this in a couple ways, but if you have built a smart contract or a DApp on another EVM chain using Chainlink, it's going to be very similar. The only thing you're going to need to do is probably like swap out like the URL for the RPC, and then make sure you have the right contract address updated. So that's like maybe the in-depth answer, right? More generally, go to docs.chain.link, look up price feed addresses, and there's a Linea section, and you can click on it, and you'll have all the contract addresses for testnet and mainnet that you can use. So I would definitely start there. And then if you're feeling a little more ambitious, we have another resource that I would recommend called dev.chain.link. So it's sort of same syntax as before, but instead of docs, it's dev. And we've got a bunch of quick starts. Yeah, perfect. Quick starts tutorials. Like it's like, here's some code snippets, or here's a template that you can use. Here's a video you can watch to integrate Chainlink price feeds into your DApp like immediately. So it's a great place to kind of get going and explore the ecosystem and see what you can build and what other people have built.
Yeah, amazing. I love this like chain.link. That was very clever. I do want to say one last piece. I think for our non-dev users, I guess Chainlink is actually really exciting and super important for us for the DeFi Voyage specifically because you have enabled a good chunk of our DeFi dApps to onboard onto Linea. So crucial ingredient. I don't know what's a crucial ingredient normally. Salt? Oil?
Salt, oil, yeah.
Yeah.
There's all sorts of. I sort of think of it like, so people used to try and like before Chainlink would try and build their own oracles, right? And I think to it back, like there's maybe two examples. Like imagine if Netflix was like, we got to build our own databases in order to stream everyone's movies, right? Like they just use AWS because it makes a lot more sense to outsource this to this team that's their job, right? And so that's a big deal. You go even further back in time, like car factories, like manufacturers, they used to build electricity generating plants on site, right? It's like way better just to plug into the grid and then have this like highly reliable uptime crucial like input to your like user experience that you're trying to build. And that's kind of how I would think about Chainlink, right? So yeah, there we go. We're excited to be here. Excited to see what you guys will build. Like this is the start of a really fun fun time. So glad to be a part of it.
Thank you so much. So that's all the questions I have for you. This was really fun. I learned a lot of new vernacular today. So I'm going to kick you off now, but it was good talking to you. Thank you so much for joining, Jimmy.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay. On the finest, the latest and greatest. Ryan, I know you've been waiting for a while. I didn't realize it was this early for you, so thank you so much for joining us in the AM. But yeah, let's start over with introductions. Ryan, tell me about yourself. Who are you? What do
Yeah,
you do?
actually, the Chainlink folks, it's just on, I'm the co-founder of ANKR, and also the sort of initiator of this Tomo initiative. Actually, well, I'll do some free advertisement here first for ANKR that not only people use Chainlink for all the DeFi integrations and protocols, a lot of DeFi protocols utilize the Chainlink. There's about 50,000 people in the world, developers in the world utilize ANKR for all the RPCs and API and our advanced API services. And so actually one of the reason I wanted to start this Tomo initiative is that there is a ton of DeFi protocols utilize the ANKR services. However, it's largely, I would say, in the DeFi space, or mainly the main activities are around the DeFi space, right? But it hasn't really touched consumer that much yet, right? One thing I always say is that blockchain is this interesting space where you don't actually get the free like sort of free freemium model, the free trial kind of thing, right? Because it is, you have an intention to do something, you will get the gas and you use it, right? However, I start to think about and to kind of like imagining how would we potentially sort of mix and mesh the intention and interaction, right? Meaning that, let's say, for example, I really hope, let's say I'm a big fan of, Emily, right? I bought Emily's key, right? Meaning in the process of I bought Emily's key, 5% of transaction fee is already in Emily's account abstraction wallet, right? Now, if Emily wants to utilize the account abstraction wallet to do anything, you already have the gas, right? Now, there is a lot of thinking about the gas stations, this, that. I think that's also great, right? However, I would say that a very sustainable way, ultimately, I believe, is mechanisms that allow people, right? Allow people to essentially enabling other people to be on blockchain, to be on crypto, right? Now, I understand that the beginning or the start of what we now call, the socialfi projects, has to do with a lot of, farming, this, that, right? We will
Ryan,
be,
can I stop you for like 1 second?
yeah, for sure. Sorry about that.
No worries. Can we answer the question, what is Tomo? Because I feel like not everyone knows, right?
For sure.
So yeah,
So
let's start with that, and then you get back onto your train of thought. Just want to make sure the baseline is covered.
yeah, absolutely. So Tomo.inc or Tomo.xyz, both website works. It's like what we call the friend company. You know what I'm trying to say? So Tomo actually means friends in Japanese. We have all seen the movie, the Monster Inc., right? But so this is the Tomo Inc., right? It is the friend.
Oh, I like that.
That,
Yeah,
that, that is how I
that's clever.
think about it. Now, what it does is that it provides what we call the private access, because with the generative AI and with the further improvement of the content creation platform and the Web2 social medias, right? There is increasingly more noise and more information, as well as simply more content, out there, right? The idea of and I've spent some time, especially this year, on a lot of AI things. The reality is, the more advanced the technology is, the easier you can cyber attack people, right? Let's say today I can use the same piece of message, cold email 1 million people, spam 1 million Instagrammer, spam 1 million, LinkedIn, profiles, right? And especially, I actually started to think about this problem, actually earlier this year. I've spent some time, in the whole individual LM, area, individual language model, right? Meaning that in the not distant future, everyone will be able to train, let's say, all of their emails, all of their messages, this, that. They will literally have a replica, of themselves, go talk to other people, whether it's in sales, whether it's in social interaction, right? However, in real humans, so what I really, really, resonate with Marco, who was on the call earlier, is almost the proof of humanity, right? The real people, right? I think at the end of the day, unless we all become, silicon-based life, in some point in the future, which to some extent I think would happen, right? We're all still human being who have 24 hours and 24 hours a day, right? No matter who you are, you only got 24 hours, right? So although the information and messages and kind of like pictures, content, these things can be repeated million, billion times, we only have 24 hours that we cannot repeat, right? Now, that being said, what blockchain really provides on a philosophical level, in my opinion, is a limiting factor, right? Because everything, you do on Tomo, especially the introduction, right, of like getting to know a person, there is a key price, right? It is like, this might not sound that great. So I buying into, Emily's friend circle. Hopefully I could be one of Emily's friend, I think that it is a equal interaction, but takes up people's resources. Because ultimately, I think the information and messages, as well as like content, are, at their nature, infinitely, repeatable, right? So what Tomo is really striving to do is to implement this mechanism to allow the next million, the next 100 million, the next even the billion people get into the blockchain space and truly utilize blockchain as a much better mechanism to filtering through social interaction, business opportunity also, right? There's a very interesting situation that one of my friend, like sort of had, is that he is a very cool dude, right? And very handsome. He's actually on the poster. He's actually on the poster of Hollister. The one of these, like, yes. Okay. So
Yeah.
interesting thing is that he also have 5 other very attractive guys, friends, right? Who also received the Hollister email and invite, to be on the poster, this, that. Now, in reality, though, at the end of the day, the only person was there is only him. But why Hollister or any of these businesses do this, meaning that you go message 10 people, 20 people, 30 people that is qualified to potentially do this. And literally last minute, you only pick 2, right? And drop the other 5, drop the other 10. It is a real story, right? Because spamming is free, right? When you think about this, like me, whether it is, and this sounds a little bit awful, whether it's Anchor or whether it is, when Tomo is growing, I mean, it is growing every single day. Right? There's already 37, 36 people, working on Tomo since the beginning of probably like a month and a half ago. The reality is, the way a very experienced sort of hiring person, let's say I am very good at recruiting new people, what I unfortunately do, I'll be honest, what I unfortunately do is literally I will go have 20 recruiters, contractors, reach out to a as massive as of a pool as possible, right? And it's just a funnel, filtering out, going through, right? And at any time, whenever a position is open and we need to hire someone, right? There is unfortunately always going to be three, four, five, other people in the pipeline, right? Now, companies do that for their own reasons, right? However, I would strongly argue that if the mechanism or the expectation, is that if me as a company or whoever is genuinely interested or excited about interacting with a person, there is and there should be a price I in the very beginning. You know what I'm trying to say? Because otherwise, I have incentive to just cast as wide as of a net as possible. And that might be good for me or might be good for any of the employers, but that is a massive waste of time, for all the people that got cast the net. You know what I'm trying to say, right? It's just very unfortunate. But look, I think we're in very very early days, of this concept. But I genuinely believe this is the true unlock of blockchain and social. Right? I think that there is obviously the speculation element. There's also the I am personally not extremely excited, of the concept yet of the kind of like a human shares. It is just from an implementation aspect, in my opinion, very difficult, right? And like there has been a lot of endeavors in the blockchain social. 5 years ago, people are building quote unquote blockchain Facebook, right? Blockchain Google, blockchain, YouTube, Airbnb, even, right? Um, I think it's just because the reason these things, in my opinion at least, did not take off before. For example, there's a company called Rally. It's I don't think I think it discontinued. Right, I actually lost a lot of money on that on that project. I bought so much Rally token, like it's insane. It went to zero basically, right? But because I'm very passionate about this concept, about the concept of like social token, about the concept of how do blockchain really interact and really impact, everyday consumers' life, right? And the ultimate end goal, when I really think about it, I think is this limiting factor of our daily resources. Now, because COVID hit, right? COVID hit, there is a massive like how should I say this? Massive explosion, of content creators as well as influencers, right? Now, the content creation and information creation, is something you can create a content, you can create some piece of information, some thoughts, some ideas on Twitter, you can instantly having millions, if not billions of people to see it. Right, a couple of days ago, I was with one of the largest YouTuber in the world. His channel really took off during the pandemic, right? Because we have this ability, you know, to let so many people to be broadcasted. However, if you're not a content creator, right, the internet and the technology should also benefit your life. But what if your work is like somewhat in person and somewhat cannot be interact at the same time, right? Like I cannot interact with like 100 people at the same time. I cannot literally text 100 people at the same time. So this is the high level philosophical, thinking, around Tomo, around friend company, So I'm very excited to be here. And sorry, I probably like say too many things, but
No, it's fine. There's I feel like a lot of interesting nuggets. I actually think the last piece where you're like, I cannot physically text 100 people at the same time. I was like, have you met Marco? I think Marco can definitely text that many people. I mean, that's regardless. I'm making a joke that's not landing.
it is
and,
landing well with me.
huh?
It is landing well with me.
Oh, okay, awesome. Thank you. Yeah, actually, I do want to talk a little bit more about Tomo, and how it works and the philosophy of it. But just to kind of make it's hard to do because we don't have a live demo. But like, how does a user actually interact with Tomo? Like, what is that experience like?
Yes, we don't have a live demo on this thing, but uh, I can show my phone. Can you see it?
Kind of, yeah. It's blurry, but better
Oh,
than zero.
so basically, whenever you come to Tomo, you can go buy people's key, and let's actually do it live here. Emily, what is your Twitter handle? Okay, here
Yes.
we go. So we have our friend live. Here, Emily. This is you, right?
Yes, that is
Okay.
me.
So as I mentioned before, I really hope I am getting into Emily's friend circle because she is amazing. Right. So I just live on the live stream purchased a key of Emily, and you see transaction successfully sent, right? And I will continue, and now I can this way slide into Emily's DM, right? But hello, hello. You see, the thing is, if I message Emily on Instagram, realistically, right? Let's say Emily is a very popular girl, and there's so many people messaging her, right? She might not read it, and that there is a big adverse selection going on, on social media, sort of a stranger messaging each other, right? Because it is just adverse selection. The reality is, right? Like every single time, sometimes I um look at these things as well, right? Like you almost immediately think that maybe it is someone that has some alternative motive, right? The keyword is alternative motive, right? Because it's like, you do not need any money to, email, to message somebody, right? And you might be doing that at the same time to 1,000 people, right? And what is something for you to gain, right? Because realistically, it is almost unsaid that if you are messaging 1,000 people at the same time or 10,000 people at the same time, you are not going to try to have real human interaction with it. It is going to, yet again, a funnel, right? A funnel for what, right? Either trying to sell some courses, right? You know what I'm trying to say? There is actually, the reason for the alternative motive and adverse selection, right? However, with this, I just said hello to Emily, and I could also already in the Tomo send Emily the picture, which unfortunately was the live stream link wasn't working initially. Um, and if I want to, I can also live send Emily Ethereum, right away using the Tomo app. It is sending Ethereum right now, 0.01 these, on the what's it called,
Wow, I'm so happy I brought you onto my
on the
stream.
Linea on the Linea live stream. I just sent Emily
Wow, amazing.
0.01 Ethereum on the live stream, a text, a picture, a Ethereum sending. Now here's the thing: within the next couple of weeks, maximum in a month, you'd be able to do anything, everything you can do with Telegram with Tomo. Anything, everything you can do with Telegram, including video chat, voice chat, including edit message, recall message, delete message, this, that, everything, right? And you'd be able to post a lot of different content, public or private, on Tomo to folks, right? We have, let's say, direct messages, uh, maybe yes, maybe no. Ryan's probably a little bit popular, Try, but you see, the thing is, I answered every single message in my direct message, each and every single one of them. Even there is 100, 200, like 100 of them, it is because I know people who direct messaged me, they have bought the key. right, means they are serious of interacting with me, right? Creators can see. For example, yesterday, well, maybe I'm not showing the should not show the direct messages, but yesterday, a friend of mine, well, I actually only just made a friend with this girl, so her Twitter, and actually everybody should probably like try to talk to her too. So there's this girl. She's got 400,000. Is that 400,000? 400,000 followers, on Twitter, right? Great creator. She does a lot of live stream, this stuff for gaming and for many things, right? And there is a ton of people want to talk to her. Sometimes, she can feel lonely, or sometimes she can feel overwhelmed, right? Because although there are 400,000 followers, now think about what is 400,000 people. 400,000 people, the biggest stadium in the world has got about 100,000 people capacity. 400,000 people is literally 4 stadium of people. Now, if you visualize, you have 4 stadium right in front of you and you want to interact with anyone, that is just like by default impossible, right? However, and there might be a ton of people messaging her, right? Yesterday, I bought her key, I DM'd her, right? And we had chat, and we actually talked to each other. This is the power, at least in my opinion, of a filtering mechanism for human interactions, really, right? And that being said, not only there's DMs, but also there is we have like a friend circle feed, right? Where this is only amongst your friends. You can see the feed, picture, video, text, right? We'll have any and all functionalities that you could imagine to be there, and
Yeah.
we're
Tomo
working
is
super hard on this.
impressive. You guys ship like every day, I almost feel like. Or I don't know, there's something new happening all the time, which is incredibly impressive. Actually in my Tomo group chat, I basically posed like, hey, I'm meeting up with Ryan. Do you guys have any questions that you want to ask him? And there's quite a few. I think first off being like Tomo has scaled incredibly impressively. We had one question about like, how did you do it? Like, what does your back end look like? Maybe it's not interesting for everyone, but someone asked the
Yeah,
question.
I
So
think we utilize the third web for the 4337 account abstraction wallet. I do genuinely believe that account abstraction is incredibly important for Web 2, adoption, right? I'm going to use this newly made friend. I just made friends with her yesterday. I bought her key, and she, from my understanding, she didn't even ever use crypto before, right? But because I bought her key and other people bought her key, she has got Ethereum in her wallet, and I've also sent her Ethereum, right? She now can actually go and buy other people's keys, right? Get into other people's friend circle if she wants to, right? And when you start to post a lot of content on the feed, on the maybe there will be stories, right? We have a lot of exciting functionalities that is coming up, right? Now, all of that is just not going to fly, if every single time you have to click out the app and go to your MetaMask and click sign. Like MetaMask is great, right? And we'll also have a lot of exciting things that is very focused and sort of built for the sort of a DeFi, kind of like audiences, right? We're working very hard on it. Tomo Pro, is also, coming on the horizon, right? Where it is just going to be more so pro experience, for folks, right? But there's at the same time, we think it's very important to have the sort of social experience that is empowering by 4337, wallet, because even if, again, just letting and asking people to get out of this app, to link wallet, all that, is still going to be very challenging, at least to a regular user. For example, this girl I again just met, she just could not. She don't know what is a MetaMask. Sorry, she does not know how to. You know what I'm trying to say, right?
Yeah.
It's just not there.
So basically, I guess the way Tomo looks like for a non-crypto user, right, is first off, I thought this was really interesting. You can buy people's keys without them having to be on Tomo at all, right? So you could preemptively, I guess, almost like pre-fund a wallet that a creator might have once they log on to Tomo. And like I logged on with my Twitter account, right?
Yeah.
So people bought my keys through my Twitter account before I even joined. And
Yeah.
then my understanding is once I logged on with that Twitter account, you guys create a wallet within the Tomo app for me, right?
Yeah.
And that holds all of my funds. And
Yeah.
so what that's enabled me to do is not have to do any sort of this weird onboarding process of like hopping in and out, and then being able to essentially through all these different interactions, either sending directly through ETH, me buying keys, other people buying keys, live within the app and never have to leave, right? And that's
Yeah.
yeah.
Absolutely. I think the way we think about it is that we're trying to maximize the potential to get more real people, on the platform, right? I will actually say exactly the same thing that Marco said, right? The way we think about this at Tomo is that it is the friend company. We want real people, right? And we hope we can bring this technology to millions, hopefully billion, of real people, right? There is going to be incentives, around the mainly around like buying volume, transaction volume, right, as well as inviting new friends, right? We're rolling out the incentive mechanism or the point system by stage, right? I think that I'm not going to name names. There are a lot of companies, in the space. Think about airdrop or think about points purely from candidly from a money game perspective, right? Now, I used to make this joke that Uber does not have free Uber rides even in the beginning. It is $2 Uber rides or $1 Uber ride, right? What you don't want, in fact, is SIBO attacked on Uber, right? Like why, as Uber, you want or you care about people literally just SIBO attacking that? And sometimes I'm trying to think about it. Maybe you can get a lot of free waters. You know what I'm trying to say, right? I think that it is still very important. I think incentive for getting new people, onto the platform to try out a service that we think is fundamentally useful and meaningful for humanity, right? Like for example, Uber and Airbnb are both fundamental change to humanity. It brought so much value to human, right? Now, it actually might take a little bit of effort for people to see this initially, right? Sometimes people be like, okay, look, I take my subway, I know how to get there, this, that, right? However, it takes a little bit of effort initially for Uber to give people incentive to utilize this. But now the self-fulfilling prophecy is fulfilled, right? Billions of people have used Uber, right? Now, I think that this is what I'm really, really passionate about. I've been in the blockchain space for a long time, right? And ANKR is supporting hundreds of thousands of people using Web3, right? Whenever you input a RPC endpoint, you probably have used Anchor, right? But I'm very interested in taking that number of like hundreds of thousands, if not million, to 10 million, to 100 million, right? That has to be utilizing a blockchain-enabled mechanism that is genuinely meaningful and useful to individual consumer users. Now, I do believe this limiting or anti-SIBO, mechanism is going to be fundamental change for social media, and we're going to give out incentives, for early people who try out to do it. But it's going to be a staged launch of the point system, a staged incentive, system. For example, initially, Uber can be incentivizing Uber. Later on, can be incentivizing Uber Eats, and it can incentivize different behavior, right? We do not think of it as a money game, a casino game. We think of it as staged product launch where we want more and more people to join and utilize the platform.
Okay, very cool. I had other questions. Why the hedgehog? What was the inspiration behind the
First of
logo?
all, hedgehog is my personal favorite animal. And why? Because I like what it stands for. Sometimes people, I don't know if this is my line or I created this line. Hedgehogs are the most romantic animal. Okay, let me tell you
Okay.
why. Because
Yeah.
hedgehog has all the spikes, around it,
Mhm. Yeah.
right? However, with its loved one, it has a soft belly where they can hug each other, and that is what
Oh.
it stands for, right? That is what the hedgehog stands for, right? We are in the world with information explosion and outreach explosion, right? We are almost forced to put on the armor around us, right? We think that, but in our heart, we always have that soft spot for our friends, for our loved ones, right? For people who we care, and that is what friend company and the little hedgehog stands for.
Wow, that is so beautiful and like very profound. I did not expect that. And then I guess the final questions.
Unfortunately, we lost the bird. I really like the bird of Twitter, actually.
Oh, really?
So I was okay. It has to be an animal.
Yeah, it has to be
Yeah.
cute. That's
Sorry,
true.
X just is not as cool as like the bird.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
cool.
Though to be fair, I think hedgehogs are cooler than the bird, and Tomo is a better name than Twitter. So you guys did a really good job. One's going up and the other one's going down. But yeah, so I had other few questions. Are you guys gonna be coming out with like a desktop version anytime?
Yes, we're going to come up with desktop version H5, this that Google, Apple, Android, even straight downloading everything, anything that you can imagine.
Yay. Okay. Fantastic. And like you said, in terms of upcoming features, you're looking for like parity with Telegram. So from a user experience perspective, everyone can expect like video, reply messages, threads,
Yep.
things
Everything.
like that. And then I did have one question about, I guess, like business plan.
And by the way,
Yes.
one thing I would actually say on the live stream, that is, Telegram stores all of your messages. Let's be honest about it, right? But
Yeah.
this is encrypted fundamentally. There's a difference, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's like fundamentally, I mean, it's trying to optimize. First of all, I think Telegram is amazing, and I'm actually a fan of Pavel Durov, because so he really fight for the freedom, and I'm a huge fan of Telegram. I'm a huge fan of Pavel Durov, particularly, but because it was obviously built, in a different time. It does not have a common abstraction back then, we're doing it a little bit differently, which we think can bring very significant impact and implications.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I do really, to be honest, like I don't use that many DeFi dApps on a regular basis outside of Tomo. So you guys have done a really good job of, I think, creating a curated experience. Marco did say he wanted to come on because I know Tomo. Oh, actually, I did have one last question. Why why did you guys choose Linea to deploy on, right? Because that was an independent choice.
Yeah, it is an independent choice. Well, this is a heavy-hearted topic, but I'm just being realistic here that Linea is going to be around 1 year, 2 year, 3 year, 5 year, 10 year, right? For a application that we hope to be around, and we will work extremely hard around, you know, have it be around the next 1 year, 2 year, 5 year, 10 year, right? The friend company should never leave anybody behind. It should be around for the next 10 years, 20 years, even more, right? I think when we think about what infrastructure or what layer 2 to use, it have to be something we believe is going to be relevant and is going to be around for years and years to come, right? And given consensus, and given the ecosystem that is around Linea, I think that it is just going to be around, and it is going to be a very robust, and it is also, like, for example, Marco. I've interacted with Marco a lot over the last couple of weeks. Really just started a couple of weeks ago, maybe a little bit over a couple of weeks now, right? Is incredible, right? The level of support, the level of help, the level of engagement that the Linea team have given to us is second to none, right? I think that now in the future, I would just also say this, right? In the future, at the end of the day, a lot of successful Web2 companies and applications use a plethora of infrastructure providers, right? Utilize, AWS, Google Cloud, Microsoft Azure, right? Now, I'm obviously the co-founder of ANKR, right? I understand that there are a lot of DeFi protocols utilize us, utilize Infura, utilize Alchemy, utilize some other providers, right? But I think to find and to choose the primary provider in the context of like layer 2, right, was an important decision for us. And what we really trying to be optimizing is around how long term do we think this layer 2 is going to be? Because we are going to be very long term. We have a mission ahead of us, right? It is what I call the mission Tomo, right? The mission friends,
Yeah.
It is a mission to help people make friends better, right? Make friends without the middleman, actually, right? Now, when you think about, so we talked about like DeFi Voyage, DeFi, Chainlink, Anchor, and a lot of DeFi protocols. I was very involved, with the creation of a lot of DeFi initiatives, right? The Anchor ETH, ANKR ETH, is the world's first deployed liquid staking Ethereum. It is on the blockchain, the very first in the world, right? So we're very like right there, when all of the DeFi initiatives, happen, right? I think the way I think about this is that because you see, you have your financial companies and you have your Warren Buffetts of the world, happen before like social media of the world happen. You know what I'm trying to say, right? Now, finance at the end of the day is a very abstract thing, right? It is the most efficient and abstract, kind of a like human initiative, right? And then you have social media, you have like payments, you have all these things, to make abstract things impacting millions, not billions of people. I think similarly, how it's going to go is that we have DeFi protocols that was powered by Chainlink, by Anchor, by layer 2s, by Linea, right? It really gave the new generation of company, like Tomo, like the friend company, the DeFi primitives, or like the interest sort of distribution primitives, right? to build application and services that is going to be useful, unique by blockchain, and unique for just bringing the overall better user experience to the Web 2 and Web 3 users, right? Now, one thing I keep emphasizing is that I'm not one of these people say that, oh, every single thing, you know, on a Web3 app has to all use Web3 stack. That just does not make sense. Does not make sense at all. Personally, and a lot of people is going to hate me for saying this. I do not see a point, in my opinion, of like putting too much like pictures and things on like decentralized storage. There's no point. There is simply no point, right? Because a lot of the nature of that is different, right? A lot of time people say, and this again, I'm going to get a lot of hate. I hope this look, there are people, I'm not going to name names, there are people always say that all the NFTs are bad because the picture is stored in AWS S3. Well, that is just rubbish comment, because the core concept of an NFT is that it's an ownership pointer, right? Maybe the picture can even be changed, you know, but you own that. Like, how hard is it to get that? But like, I don't know. Like, some people are crazy and they think about things differently. And maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm the crazy one, right? But as I understand that blockchain or digital asset on chain is the concept of like, it really is the concept of like private ownership, you know, on the internet natively, right? The key word to underscore here is ownership, right? But doesn't mean everything needs to be on blockchain. If I put anything on Linea, like no blockchain will be able to do that. But blockchain is supposed to be a sort of a money and asset ownership, you know, pointer layer, right? Doesn't mean everything, you know. For example, we're doing a live stream right now, and we're gonna make CDNs, you know. Yeah, right. That just doesn't make any sense.
Yeah. No, I mean, I don't think people will hate you for this. And I share a similar opinion, right? People ask me why did I join Web3, and I spoke specifically to data ownership. I think as a creator, especially, like that kind of stuff matters to me. And the other piece too, I think, is like I think there is such a narrative around like, oh, Web3 is going to replace Web2. But for me personally, it's always been, how does Web3 make experiences in Web2 better? Right? I don't see it as a replacement, more as an enhancement. And I think that's the narrative I like to say when my friends who don't work in Web3, you know, kind of talk about, why are you in this industry? Like, what, this is insane. I'm like, no, not really. It's like, it makes your life better in small ways or big ways, but don't think of it as like completely overturning everything. It's just an improvement. But we are quite over time, so I do want to let Marco come in and say one last piece. I know he wanted to talk about kind of Tomo's contribution to the Linea ecosystem. Marco, if you're still online, I'm going to bring your face back up. But yes, are you here?
Yeah, I am. It's a bit difficult to to talk about the Linea ecosystem for Tomo after this very interesting conversation. No, I just wanted to highlight the fact that I mean, we were reached out by 3 different Frentech clone during right after Frentech launched on Base. Then a lot of clones started popping up, and they reached all. Many of them reached us, and reached me, and we started talking. It was not really a great thing to actually have a Frentech fork, in our opinion, on Linea. So we were a bit like, okay, yeah, but you know, you need to do something, you need to bring some novelty and blah, blah, blah. And then suddenly I was already in touch with Ryan, but I had no idea what Ryan was working on. So 1 week before the launch, he reached out to me and he said, hey, we have this in our hands. We want to launch a Linea next week. And I said, okay, let's jump on a call. Let's see. Actually, I was very impressed because of the tech stack that they are building. I mean, that's the most impressive things that I've seen. Native mobile app. Nobody is providing this. Not any front-end fork is providing this. A full account abstraction suite that is real account abstraction. When you send money on Tomo, you are not self-custodied by Tomo. You don't have to do anything. You just need to back up your private key. You will be able to get access to your funds even if Tomo gets delisted from store. You know, that's self-custody. And it's super relevant because it's smart and sleek user experience without any very difficult onboarding into the Web3, but still with self-custody that will let you get access to your asset outside of Tomo. And so I started to look at all the stack and I say, wow, guys, this is super impressive. I get to know better the tech team. And we started sharing opinion, connecting the Tomo team to other partners in the ecosystem. And it was amazing because a lot of things were implemented very fast. A lot of things are shipping right now that are bringing new features that are novelty. So the plan in my mind is that we will try to champion Tomo as the reference implementation for, let's say, can we say DApp 2.0 on Linea, because it's amazing. The whole stack is self-custody using the last innovation in the space, like account abstraction, using transparent bridging on the back, starting to, I mean, there will be other things that you will see. I don't want to give out any, to do any disclosure here, but there's a lot of things in the kitchen that will be shipped from the Tomo team that are building together with other partners. And that's where actually you see that the DApp will bring value to the ecosystem, because you can bring 2,000 DApp on Linea. If they don't talk each other, it's like you bring pieces of a body and you keep the pieces of a body disconnected on the floor. You know, if you start to integrate them together and let them work together, you then create a full body that is working with 2 legs, 2 arms, 2 hands. You know, that's where you see the real value of the ecosystem. That's what they're doing actually. They are working with partners, with many partners in the Linea ecosystem. We have dApps. I mean, Linea started having a Tomo key from the very beginning, because we are really sure that Tomo will actually be the champion of reference implementation of how to build great dApps on Linea. So we said we need to be on this and need to support this. But then we see partners jumping in. We have other partners. I want to mention some of them: Mandy Finance, Linex, Velacor. They are all on Tomo with their keys. I will be on an AMA the day after tomorrow. Yeah, the second should be the second. I will be on an AMA on Tomo for Mandy Finance that has a key and is doing an Alpha Club AMA only with owners of the key. You know, that's really everything that Ryan was saying before, like paying attention to the one that cares you about you the most. So that was amazing how they are working with partners and partners are working with them. And when 2 partners work together, it's not additive value. It's like exponential value that they generate, you know. And we are seeing this day after day. So yeah, it was just something that I want to share. Great expectation about Tomo, and take a closer look on how they are building DApp, because if you really want to build a successful DApp in the future, you need to follow their example, actually.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Yeah.
One thing I actually want to say is that what we're going to do, we're already working, and I'm sure Marco, you will introduce me to more dApps. Is this concept, you know, what I would call a concept of allowing influencers to create links to the dApps where they can also get, you know, referral fees. Now you see that already a lot in the traditional, not traditional, in the kind of like the CeFi space, right? The reference link, you know, this, that, right? But with Tomo, you'd be able to have the experience where you have a Twitter, right? And you come to Tomo, you have a common abstraction wallet, you know, because we will be working with a lot of DeFi's and a lot of applications, you know, they can generate potentially a link immediately, right? Where the sort of a reference fees and all that can just directly send to their account abstraction wallet, right? So in a way, this is even better than the experience a CeFi will provide, right? We've been in talk with a number of DeFi protocol on this already. Some of the implementation would actually be ready to go very, very soon. But the thing is, I really think that the biggest potential is really the ability to kind of allow all kinds of reference fee come into one place, right? Come into one place that is linked to your Twitter, that is linked to your other social media, right? And everyone can be someone that can influence others. Right? This is what the vision we have. Now, I understand that sometimes, although we work very, very hard every day, it probably still not seem to be like tomorrow, right? But I think there is going to be a big inflection point. And I think that we're not that far away from it. I understand that within the community, there are a lot of folks that is candidly a little bit more airdrop, focused. I understand that, right? Which is going to be a little bit anti about whether there is this airdrop, that airdrop, this activity, that activity, this point, that point. It is important, right? And I am here live on the live stream to say that I absolutely appreciate. And Tomo, the friend company is built by friends, so we will always, always recognize any and all historical activity that was done using Tomo, any and all activities, right? Now the exact rules and how we think about it, it takes a little bit of time because we're very serious about the mission, right? We roll it out in stages, right? But one thing I would say though, friends are there for each other for a long time, right? I don't expect my friend to give me something tomorrow. If I expect my friend to give me something tomorrow, then I'm not the friend with the person. You know what I'm trying to say? Right? I
Yeah.
think it's important, right? I
Yeah.
think this is an honest conversation. This is my honest opinion, right?
Yeah.
That that we have all the intention to reward early supporter as well as bringing this and making this a very long-term mission, right? And I think that the people who support it from the get-go of the project should be rewarded, right? However, I really want to tell people directly and candidly that we are not intended to making it a money game where you get the airdrop and say goodbye. It is like, what I'm trying to say. It's like
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
in the friend context, it's like you got the money and you're no longer friends, right? And that's not what we intend to build, and that's not our vision. Yeah.
Okay. Awesome. Well, thank you so much for all of this. I am really happy to have seen or like heard so much about the project. Linea has keys, or not Linea has keys. Linea is on Tomo and ready to chat, interact with the community. But yeah, I guess that's
One
all
last thing,
there's.
though, I will also say before we go, and I'm putting Marco and Emily, you guys, on the spot a little bit here, is that one initiative I thought about yesterday is that why don't Linea and Tomo, so you know how there is 5% transaction fee for both the influencer or the, I don't know, anyone, right, as well as the protocol, right? A commitment which I decided yesterday will do is that if any individual account is pledged to use the transaction fee that account receive for charity purposes, Tomo will match that exactly. Right? Because I was watching some like videos yesterday. Warren Buffett's lunch, right? Warren Buffett does not care, but Warren Buffett's lunch is a little bit of high end private access, right? Our friend Justin paid, I think it was 5, right? To have the lunch with Warren, because he really wanted to promote Web3, right? I actually, this is a digression. I think he's misunderstood. I think he's actually working extremely hard for the progression of the Web3. But like that is a action of request or paying for this private access, right? And Warren Buffett certainly does not care, about the $4 or $5 million, right? Or I think the latest one or the last one was like $19 million, right? But even that, he does not care, right? He donates all of that to the charity. This, I think it's like Glide. I forgot the exact name, right? So starting from tomorrow, any and all influencer, any and all individual that, as long as they pledge to give away, the transaction fee that they receive from people who want to private access them, to direct access them, Tomo will match completely, of that donation to selected cause and charity.
That's
Yeah,
amazing.
Ryan, actually, this is amazing. And when we onboarded Linea on Tomo, we announced it on Twitter, and we announced that any fees that we're going to collect on Tomo with the Linea handler will be given out to public goods. Because, yeah, charity is super important, but public goods are providing a lot of services to the blockchain industry, and they need funding, a lot of funding. So we are just waiting for the fees collected to be a bit more relevant to actually start bringing out. But I mean, addresses are public, blockchain is public. Anyone can monitor our address, our Tomo address, and see that we are not taking any of that money, and we're going to give out all of them to public goods.
Yeah, and that is what we intend to do. Whenever the any account on Tomo plan to give the fees to public good, to charity, to any cause, we will match the same.
That's great.
Wow.
That's great.
That's so great to hear. Okay, cool. Well, thank you so much for joining. We are severely over time, so if you guys have extra questions about Tomo, you'll be in Dev Connect Istanbul. You'll be at our Linea event on the 16th. And I think you guys are also throwing a pizza party, right? So that'll be super fun.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay, so I think that's
Emily,
everything.
there's one comment on YouTube from a user. It's
Yes.
about me and the ecosystem. I mean, I don't know if we're able to reach them out. I'm very sorry if I did not follow it up on some conversation with some of the partners. It's just that my backlog is really, really hard to clear out. Probably you're still in the backlog. Otherwise, reach me out again, so you will be up in the queue. But yeah, there's no intention to don't listen to anyone. 100%. We talk to everybody.
Yeah. Okay. Fantastic. Thank you guys so much for joining. We're always online. There's a lot of interest as usual. But yeah, have a very good rest of your day. Thank you so much for joining.